Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.S.K. Rowling is one of the most influential and beloved fantasy novels ever written. Published in 1997, the book introduced millions of readers to the magical world of Hogwarts, but its lasting impact goes far beyond spells and adventure. Beneath the fantasy lies a story about identity, friendship, courage, loneliness, belonging, power, love, and the struggle between fear and morality. The novel begins with Harry Potter living a miserable life with his relatives, the Dursleys. Harry is an orphan who lost his parents as a baby and has grown up neglected, mistreated, and emotionally isolated. The Dursleys treat Harry like a burden. He sleeps in a cupboard under the stairs, receives little affection, and grows up believing he is ordinary and unwanted. This beginning is important because it establishes one of the novel's central themes, the search for identity and belonging. Harry feels disconnected from the world around him. He senses something unusual about himself, but does not yet understand who he truly is. Everything changes when mysterious letters begin arriving for Harry. The letters reveal that Harry is a wizard and has been accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. This moment transforms Harry's life completely. But symbolically, it represents something deeper. The discovery that identity is larger than the limitations imposed by others. Harry begins moving from a world of suppression into a world of possibility. Another major theme of the novel is belonging. At Hogwarts, Harry finally finds friendship, recognition, and emotional connection. For the first time, he experiences acceptance. This emotional shift matters deeply because many readers connect not only with the fantasy elements, but with the universal desire to find a place where they are understood. Hogwarts itself becomes one of literature's most iconic settings because it represents more than a school. It symbolizes wonder, growth, discovery, and the transition from childhood confusion into self-understanding. The castle is filled with moving staircases, secret passages, magical creatures, enchanted objects, and hidden mysteries. But beneath the magic lies a deeper emotional truth. Hogwarts feels alive because it represents possibility. Another major theme is friendship. Harry quickly becomes close friends with Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. Together, the three form one of literature's most famous friendships. Each character represents different strengths. Harry possesses courage and instinct. Ron brings loyalty, humor, and emotional grounding. Hermione contributes intelligence, discipline, and problem-solving. Their friendship demonstrates one of the novel's most important lessons. People become stronger through cooperation and trust. None of them could succeed alone. This idea becomes increasingly important throughout the story. Another central theme is courage. Harry is famous in the wizarding world because, as a baby, he survived an attack from the dark wizard Lord Voldemort, who murdered Harry's parents. Voldemort's power mysteriously failed when he tried to kill Harry, leaving Harry with the lightning-shaped scar on his forehead. This history creates enormous pressure around Harry's identity. Many people admire him before even knowing him personally. Harry struggles with this attention because he does not yet understand why he survived. This introduces another major theme: fame versus character. Harry is famous, but Rowling consistently emphasizes that fame itself means little without integrity, kindness, and courage. Harry's real value comes not from reputation, but from his choices. This idea becomes explicit through one of the novel's most important messages. It is our choices that define us more than our abilities. Another key character is Albus Dumbledore, the wise and mysterious headmaster of Hogwarts. Dumbledore represents wisdom, compassion, and moral guidance. Unlike many authority figures in fantasy stories, Dumbledore values love, humility, and ethical choice more than raw power. Through Dumbledore, the novel repeatedly emphasizes that intelligence and talent alone are insufficient without morality. Another important character is Draco Malfoy. Draco represents arrogance, prejudice, and entitlement. Raised in a wealthy pureblood wizard family, he believes social status and bloodline determine superiority. This introduces one of the novel's strongest themes: prejudice. The wizarding world contains discrimination based on blood purity, social class, and family background. Some wizards believe magical abilities should belong only to certain families, looking down on Muggle-born students like Hermione. Rowling uses this prejudice to reflect broader social issues in the real world. The novel shows how fear and arrogance often fuel discrimination. Another major theme is good versus evil. But Rowling avoids presenting this conflict too simply. The story suggests that darkness does not emerge only through monsters or obvious villains. Instead, evil often grows through fear, greed, prejudice, obsession with power, and lack of empathy. Voldemort represents these qualities at their extreme. He fears death intensely and seeks domination at any cost. His obsession with power destroys his humanity. Harry, by contrast, repeatedly values friendship, loyalty, and love over ambition or control. This contrast forms the moral heart of the story. One of the most important symbolic objects in the novel is the Mirror of Erised. The mirror shows a person their deepest desire. When Harry looks into it, he sees himself surrounded by his parents and family. This scene is emotionally powerful because it reveals Harry's deepest longing, connection, and love. Dumbledore warns Harry that people can lose themselves in dreams and forget to live. This becomes another important lesson. Dreams and desires matter, but obsession with fantasy can disconnect people from reality and action. Another central theme is the power of love. Unlike many fantasy stories that focus primarily on strength or magical skill, Harry Potter repeatedly emphasizes emotional forces. Harry survived Voldemort because of his mother's sacrificial love. Her willingness to die protecting him created powerful magic. This idea may sound sentimental superficially, but Rowling treats it seriously. Love becomes a form of protection against hatred and cruelty. Voldemort cannot understand this, because he views emotion as weakness. The novel suggests the opposite. Empathy and love are forms of strength. Another important theme is identity and self-discovery. Harry constantly questions who he is. He worries about similarities between himself and Voldemort. He wonders whether fame defines him. He struggles to understand his place in the wizarding world. These questions reflect universal adolescent experiences. Growing up often involves separating identity from external expectations. Another major lesson concerns temptation and ambition. The Sorting Hat briefly considers placing Harry in Slytherin House, known for ambition and association with dark wizards. Harry fears becoming like Voldemort. Dumbledore later explains that Harry's choices matter more than similarities or potential. This message remains one of the series' most important philosophical ideas. People are not defined entirely by talent, background, or instinct. Moral choice matters. The novel also explores education. Hogwarts teaches magical subjects, but deeper lessons occur outside classrooms. Students learn bravery, loyalty, critical thinking, and ethical responsibility through experience. Knowledge alone is insufficient without wisdom. Hermione initially excels academically, but gradually learns that courage and friendship matter too. Another important theme is confronting fear. Harry repeatedly faces frightening situations despite uncertainty. Courage in the novel does not mean absence of fear. It means acting despite fear. This distinction makes the characters emotionally relatable. Another major lesson concerns power. The Sorcerer's Stone itself grants immortality and immense wealth. Many characters desire it for selfish reasons. But the stone ultimately becomes protected by moral worthiness rather than strength alone. Harry succeeds because he seeks to prevent misuse rather than gain power personally. This reinforces Rowling's larger message that ethical intention matters more than ambition. The novel also emphasizes the importance of loyalty and sacrifice. Several characters risk themselves to protect others. Friendship repeatedly proves more valuable than status or achievement. These emotional bonds give the story warmth beyond its fantasy setting. Another timeless aspect of the novel is wonder. Harry experiences the magical world with awe, and readers experience it alongside him. This sense of discovery reconnects readers with curiosity and imagination, often lost in adulthood. Yet Rowling balances wonder with emotional realism. Even magical worlds contain loneliness, fear, prejudice, grief, and moral complexity. How can someone apply the lessons of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone today? First, understand that identity is shaped by choices more than labels. Second, value friendship and loyalty deeply. Third, recognize that courage means acting despite fear. Fourth, avoid judging people solely by background or status. Fifth, understand that power without morality becomes dangerous. Sixth, protect curiosity and imagination. Seventh, remember that love and empathy are strengths, not weaknesses. Another practical lesson is resilience. Harry begins life neglected and lonely, yet remains capable of kindness and connection. Pain does not have to define character permanently. The final summary of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is this: true strength comes not from power, fame, or talent alone, but from courage, friendship, love, and moral choice. People become who they are through the values they choose to live by. Fear and hatred divide. Compassion and loyalty unite. In the end, the novel reminds readers that even ordinary people carry extraordinary potential when they choose bravery, kindness, and hope over fear and selfishness.